We are back with the DawnCast, everyone. Episode 31 is a big episode heading into WrestleMania weekend with some previews and predictions. What do we got for them, Durple? Let's talk about it.
So we've got a few matches that we're going to go over. Like, for example, the tag match, and the title matches.
Any
what
extra
match
matches?
start off with?
I actually think the tag match is a great spot to start because that match to me has very little like story build. Like there were stories going into the matches, but itself I mean, it's obviously going to be a banger match. You got four of the best teams. Like regardless of what you think of anyone in that match, like all four of those teams are good. Theory and Waller are good. You know, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are good.
Yeah. You got the New Day, they're always great. You don't need to explain them.
Yeah, they should. Plus they deserve a spot on the card at any time. And then
you got DIY and Awesome Truth.
Yeah, DIY, Awesome Truth. Got a lot of good teams
Judgment
there.
Day.
Judgment Day, yeah. So I think what they're going to do is probably pull both sets down with different teams.
Yeah. I hope one of the sets at least goes to DIY out of everyone in this match.
I think DIY definitely could use it a little more than the other teams because I think they've been around a long time and like a lot of people obviously like them as a tag team. But then like they have yet to they haven't had a tag title run on the main roster, have they? No, they haven't, right?
No, they've had a few matches against Judgment Day for the belts, but have fallen up short thanks to like interference from JD or Dom or Rhea.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, because I just feel like since their time in NXT, they've been like they're one of the last like things from like what you would consider the black and gold days. Yeah, other than probably Finn Balor himself. But then you also have you just have the fact that they're like they've been over and they're always over. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know a time when DIY hasn't been over as a team.
I don't know a time when DIY, whether it is as a team or as single stars, have put on a bad match.
No, that too.
I mean, regardless, this match is going to be absolute chaos, and I live for it.
Yeah, because personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Pete Dunne's team take one of the belts, but my thing is I have a feeling it's probably going to go to DIY for the Raw belts, and for SmackDown they'll probably go Theory and Waller because I have a feeling Theory and Waller are both getting primed up to get like an actual push here.
Yeah. I mean, I like what they're doing with patching Theory with like Waller to try and help him out with certain aspects of his character. I just kind of wish Waller was going more of like a US, title picture or something rather than like a tag thing in some ways.
No, and I agree with that because I feel like with Grayson Waller, like it's like he had a lot of momentum last year with just all of his like segments. And him just like the little barbs he had with people, kind of the similar way of like Austin Theory, but maybe that's why it's kind of better to give them both a run together for now and then let them both hit that trajectory together.
Also, you got Logan Paul as US champ, so, they're not really going to do heel be heel and that.
Yeah, so you'd have to turn one of them face, if nothing else, like...
Also, is Theory and Waller still actually allied to like Logan, or is it now Pretty Deadly and they're not actually doing anything with Logan? Because
I don't think anyone's allied with him. I think at this point he's kind of just on his own. I think it's kind of more Pretty Deadly because he did come out and help them, but I think at this point he's kind of just on his own.
Fair. I feel like there's not a bad choice for who comes out as champions, because people aren't really going to mind if Judgment Day retain one of the belts or if they drop both belts to any of the teams in here. I feel like in terms of fan favourite teams going into the match, like in the arena and that, most people are going to be behind New Day and probably DIY winning.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I just have a feeling New Day ain't going to bring down the belts, and it's going to be like you said, DIY with one of them, and then if Judgment Day do lose the SmackDown tag belts, will probably be to a team like A-Town Down or maybe New Catch Republic.
Which I'd be fine with them taking the. I don't know. I'd be fine. There's not really any team there that I'd be against winning. Maybe the only team, and it's just because I don't feel like they need it so much, and like some people may not like me saying this, but I think the only team that I could actually say maybe doesn't need a win there is the New Day. That's nothing against them. It's
so
just
many tag runs and stuff. Like it doesn't matter whether they're tag champion or not. They're still the main event.
And you can keep slotting them in and out of tag title stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're kind of versatile because you can put them in tag title stuff. You can have one of them going for like the IC while the other one's going, for like Kofi could be going for the world while Xavier's trying to go after the IC.
Yeah.
There's like a million things they could do with those guys. So like, I don't have like a specific team that I would say like shouldn't win, other than maybe them.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess Judgment Day doesn't need the win either. I guess New Day and Judgment Day don't need the wins. Every other team there could definitely use the win though. Or at least one of the sets of the belts. Plus, it would help SmackDown, because I feel like SmackDown got neglected when they split the tag division.
It does feel that way. You mainly see Raw people because of Judgment Day holding the belts.
Yeah, it just seems like they don't do much with SmackDown. But yeah, that's kind of my thing there with that. I think we should probably push along, just because, like,
yeah,
I don't want to get focused on one match the entire time. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but...
Another match that I think could be like really cool is the United States Championship match, Paul, Orton and Owens.
Oh yeah, Logan Paul, Orton and Owens I think will be a great match.
Yeah. I see Logan Paul retaining, maybe like Kevin Owens and Orton like end up, fighting each other at some point in the match. He sort of sneaks in and gets the win somehow, or there's a few ways they can do it.
I think, I don't know, because I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Orton and Owens go on beyond this to maybe be a team to challenge whatever, because SmackDown's going to need people to fill up the tag division. So I'm kind of okay with them, pushing, like one of the teams to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like,
yeah.
But, like,
it'll be an interesting one to see how Logan Paul gets out of it, as we've yet to see Orton and Owens fight each other.
No, that's what I mean. Like, you don't really have a,
I really focus on the bundle.
like, because I would like to see them team up, so that's why I don't really want them to turn on each other. But then it's like, I kind of want to have Logan Paul, like, if he wins, I don't want him to get, like, a screwy win either. I feel like because he won the belt in the screwy kind of way, I think it should be, like, he kind of,
I know there's a dinosaur again.
he at least gets, like, takes advantage. Like, Orton hits an RKO on Owens, and he, like, comes in and, like, it's not really screwy. He just kind of takes advantage of a situation or something, like...
But by laying out Orton or chucking him out the ring.
But don't make him look like where he's like
himself.
hiding 90% of the match, because I think that's kind of the wrong way to go. Like, especially because the dude can put on phenomenal matches. But yeah, no. Who do you think should win that? Logan, or who do you go?
Logan,
for that one?
yeah. I think Logan to take it.
I could honestly handle any one of the three winning, because, like, okay, so in my opinion, honestly, I feel like Orton or Kevin Owens does actually deserve, like, a run, especially because with Orton, we don't know, if how much longer he's going to be in the business before he decides to, like, hang up his boots. So I want to at least see one more good Orton title run of some kind, but at the same time, it's like, we get what we get. So, I wouldn't hate Logan Paul winning. It's just, I do also feel like Kevin Owens needs something, because he's been going, like, the last belt he held was the tag belts with Sammy, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, I can't remember the last time Owens was a singles champion. Like, it's been ages.
Yeah. I mean, Sammy's even on this card moving on to potentially getting his own mid-card belt when he faces Gunther.
No, exactly. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I kind of would rather.
There really isn't like a bad choice to win this match. When you think about it, I just feel like Logan, just because I feel like they might want to have like a bit of a longer title reign, since I believe he's signed a new like more full-time
Well, if
contract.
you have him run with it longer, then when someone finally beats him, like you could have an NXT call-up, because you could have him be one of those really just like those heel champs that no one gets past. So it's like really hard for them to beat the guy, and then finally when someone does get, or you could finally have things go full circle and have like someone like Ricochet beat him, someone who he started his like kind of run against.
Yeah.
Because that'd be good for Ricochet.
It's also kind of, I feel like it's kind of unlikely because they probably want him to do something else, but I mean, he could even potentially lose it to Braun Breaker, because I think they're trying to turn him face on SmackDown.
And he really could. Braun might be the right guy, because the thing is and the reason I bring up what could happen down the line is because to me, WrestleMania to a lot of people is where stories end, but to me it's where they end, but they also start setting up for the next like stories kind of thing.
Stories come to end at Mania, but it's also the beginning of a new,
like the next year. Yeah, like it's the end of the last year, beginning of the next year, so you kind of have to look at like, well, what are they going to do going forward?
And like the SmackDown after Mania and Raw after Mania is so important, and it's like so crucial that
I'd be fine with
all the shows.
So this is how I look at it. I'd be fine with Braun Breaker getting it, and I'd be fine with what do you call it? I'd also be fine with like someone like Ricochet doing it. My main thing is I feel like Logan will probably drop it, and when he does, though, I have the damnedest feeling he's going to be Mr. Money in the Bank this year.
That's fair.
It only makes sense for the way they've like been booking and pushing him, like whether people like him or not. I'm not saying anything for or against the guy in like that capacity. I'm just saying I have the damnedest feeling that he's going to be getting pushed towards the.
I mean, I won't be mad about seeing it. I feel like he could be interesting with his character, the way he is towards both champions, because I feel like it is better when you get Money in the Bank briefcase holders that sort of put both champions on their feet, like looking behind them at all times.
And it's someone.
Priest, I get why they didn't, because a lot of people say, well, it's kind of obvious he's not going to cash in on Roman, there's only Seth, but like, at the same time, you've got that 1% chance they go with cashing in on Roman, even though it's extremely unlikely, you've got that 1%.
Well, and then you also have the thing of like, if Logan wins Money in the Bank and then he wins the WWE or the World Heavyweight title, I mean, that's going to be instant eyes on the product, because it's Logan Paul, whether you like him or not. The guy is like, I mean, there's a reason he's famous, you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a reason he's like massive.
And then on the flip that, moving along a little bit, to flip it on that, since we're talking about the mid-card belt, I think a good one to go to next would be obviously Sammy and Gunther.
Yeah. I see Gunther retaining in this match, but I would say if you wanted to have Gunther lose to someone having an underdog story, and you don't want it to be Chad Gable, Sami Zayn is probably one of your best options, as he can make himself believable for him to be coming out with a potential victory in like any match. He just plays the underdog so perfectly, in my opinion.
He does. Like, I could see it almost being like, I know they're not going to do this, but what if they reenact, because it's Triple H and he does kind of like to go back and like redo stuff he's already done. What if Kevin loses, right? And then Sammy wins, and then he comes out to like celebrate with Sammy, but then we have a reenactment of NXT, and he like,
when he attacked Sammy after his title match, from power bombs and stuff like that. Yeah, that could be interesting.
And then sets up for those two, because people always want to see them have their big like, because they've never really had their.
If you wanted to, you could either from there trade Owens to Raw, or you could have either the US champions within after the triple threat get swapped with Gunter, or not with Gunter, with you know, Sami Zayn, and have the IC belt back on SmackDown with the US belt back on Raw, for example. There's like a few ways you go about setting up that feud, considering one's a Raw Superstar and one's SmackDown.
No, exactly.
Who do you see winning the match, though?
I would definitely think I would assume if you're going to put all this build into it, it would be Sami Zayn. But if you, the off chance Gunther wins, then I have like you're going to have to push Gunther towards the world title with the IC title
and do like an Ultimate Warrior type situation.
Yeah, but I have a pretty strong feeling that they're not going to have Sami Zayn lose this.
That's
it's too much of a WrestleMania moment kind of thing. Like him winning would get people so excited because it's like, oh my God, Sami Zayn just won the.
Do you think it should have been Chad over Sami in this match, or do you reckon they went in the right choice here on having Sami win?
If you were going to do that, then a triple threat would have been the way to go. But I think nothing against Chad Gable. I like the guy, but he's gotten a lot of opportunities, and if like it's the same thing with like the Cody thing where. And obviously I'll get to this when I talk about it, but my whole thing with it isn't him going for it, it's the timing, and I feel like when they didn't pull the trigger initially, like with Chad, that they've kind of already, like, yeah, the fans would be over with it, but I feel like it still wouldn't have the same amount of, like his impact because it's lost momentum since, you know, a few months ago when people really wanted him to have the belt. Because now you have these people that want Sami Zayn to get it, and like it's starting to split more, and so it's like, yeah, I feel like if they didn't do
I can agree with that.
So yeah, that's my issue with it only.
Realistically, I feel like it would have been cool to have Chad beat Gunther, because obviously he kind of deserves some sort of title reign, whether it be like a mid-card belt or whatever, or or even if they just gave him and Otis like the tag belts, like that would be awesome to see, you know, like.
Didn't they have the tag belts for a little? I'm not saying don't give it to him, but they did. They were tag champs for a little, weren't they?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, when they were heels, I'm pretty sure they had a run as that when the Alpha. When they were the heel Alpha Academy, I'm almost 100% positive.
Yeah, I believe as babyface they've not yet had a
Not as babyface,
run.
yeah, but as heel they have.
But yeah, no, I could agree with that on how they should just pull the trigger.
Well, otherwise a triple threat.
I mean, some people
good.
also theorizing that. Obviously, I know this is going to be like a lot down the line and that, but as in, they're theorizing that Gunther might retain here and then drop his belt at Bash at Berlin, because some people think that's when they're going to call up Ilya Dragunov or something and have him beat Gunther, which that could be interesting, but I don't know if that would be better than having Gunther lose at like a WrestleMania to Sami Zayn, for example.
Oh, sorry, I meant Copper.
You know?
No, yeah.
Because it'd be cool, because it is the person who broke the historic title reign for Gunther with the NXT UK title, but it comes down to what's going to be better for Gunther, his opponent, and the business as a whole. And then, but you've already got Bash at Berlin, they're going to be right by like Gunther's hometown and that, so it's like, would they really want him to lose at his hometown rather than retain?
Well, and you gotta look at it as like, I feel like the reason you kind of want to have Gunther lose at this point, and it's again nothing against him, is you probably want to start planting the seeds of like him getting in a main event run. So like,
yeah, will it be against Seth's belt or Drew if he wins, or even the SmackDown World Title if he goes to different brands? Because I don't know if they're doing like a superstar swap or whatever after Mania. shake up. That's
exactly.
what I'm looking for, not swap.
Your smelters.
Because that'll be interesting to see if they do that after Mania, some sort of like shake up and that.
Which they probably will.
Something I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't think you go do bundles, so I'm gonna go do
Yeah, anything else you can think of about the
For
IC
that
title
match, no.
or?
I think that's pretty cut and dry. It's probably going to be Sami Zayn getting his big WrestleMania moment, which he deserves. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it's probably where we're going with that one.
What match do you reckon we should go on to next?
Well, I think in the way we've been kind of handling the championships, I think it's fair to talk about the 2 women's title matches next.
Okay. So we've got Io and Bailey, and then Rhea and Becky Lynch.
Okay, so Io and Bailey, I think, is going to be shenanigans. Like, you have Damage Control, you have the team of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi.
Yeah, I see. If
So I
that
see a lot of
match
run-ins.
is confirmed of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi versus Dakota Kai, not Io, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane, I can see Asuka and that trying to get involved, and maybe Jade Cargill and all that coming down and attacking them, just like stop them perhaps. But I can also at the same time see maybe Bianca Belair not come out because maybe because of the history between her and Bailey and that. She didn't come out on the SmackDown. It was just Naomi, if I remember correctly, that came out to try and help Bailey.
you have something better to do.
Yeah.
So you could also have Bianca Belair leave Bailey to just get screwed out of the belt, perhaps, with Naomi and maybe Jade Cargill wanting to help.
Who do you have winning that match?
I can see them having Bailey win, but I think the right decision is having Io retain.
Yeah, I don't see it's a thing, and people are going to disagree because it's not the popular thing. But I keep saying it is I don't feel like Bailey's title runs are that great, and I feel like if you give her the belt, it's going to be everyone's excited to see her chase the belt, and then as soon as she wins it, they're going to be like, oh, she's a boring champ. We should not wanted her to win it.
Which is fair. I mean, some people in the business are just better at chasing the gold rather than actually holding the gold. Some people aren't. That's just sort of how it is. To be fair. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if she does win and they, book her to have like a good title run. They just tend to not do great with babyface champions a lot of the time.
No, look at Bianca Belair when she was champ. They did nothing with her as champion.
It was just like a bunch of big matches, no feuds really for the most part. Outside of her and Becky, I can't really think of any feud she was in.
She really wasn't in any, you're right. She was kind of just...
Well, I guess you could kind of say it's similar with Rhea's current belt, how other than her and Becky and then her and Nia, there's not really been much rivalries going on, because she's mainly been focusing on what Damian Priest, Dominic, Finn Balor and all that are doing,
just
not
bloodline
her actual
stuff,
title
yeah.
run.
That is really cute. If you've done
Um,
that was so funny. I talked to Emily and she's like, no.
who do you see winning in the Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch match though?
I didn't know she was gonna do that.
I would say probably Becky, just because Rhea's been champ for so long, and I don't really see what she... Like, at this point, Rhea needs to do something else. Not in a bad way,
That's
it's
fair.
just... She needs something else to do other than just be champ. Especially because, again, it's one of those title runs, like you said, where, like, other than recently, there wasn't much going on with it, so it's like...
Even then, it's because they done it with if you remember when one of the times they reunited the Shield and they had Roman as Universal Champion, they just had him completely focused on only Shield stuff and wouldn't book him any storylines for his belt. It was only about doing six-man tags with Seth and Dean. It was like, and it kind of ruined that entire title run when it could have been good, you know.
No, yeah.
They're just having her focus too much on the team that's around her, which it could be interesting to see if she breaks off from them and goes more solo, feeling as though they're just distracting her or, you know, whatever. And you could possibly keep her and Dom as a duo together, or you could have Dom stay in Judgment Day as she splits ways. But I would say that's probably unlikely for them to do, but it'd be interesting if they decide to go down that route. What would you say?
Well, I don't see Judgment Day lasting too much longer after Mania. It's kind of running its course, and I mean that in a good way. Everyone that's been there has had their opportunities, has gotten bigger from the stable. I mean, before Judgment Day, I don't think anyone would have given as much of like people, like some of us would, but a lot of people wouldn't care nearly as much about people like Dominic, JD McDonough, Damian Priest. Like Finn and Rhea probably would have been okay.
Damian Priest started strong and had high hopes, and then they sort of ruined him after they made him lose the US belt, and he started going down in momentum, and then Judgment Day started to save him.
So
when Triple H took over.
Well, it was before Triple H took over, because remember, he joined Judgment Day when Edge was in charge of it.
Well, yeah, but
I get what you mean. It was during that transition.
Judgment Day wasn't really a main attraction until Triple H took over, and then, because that's when the momentum started to really jump, it felt like, at least to me.
It's because everybody wanted Finn in the group, which it was better. I think it worked out better for everybody, because you can tell Adam Copeland's happy doing what he's doing over in AEW. I'm happy for him. The AEW stuff he's been doing has been pretty cool. Him and Matt Cardona tonight, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it.
That's going to be a sick match.
Rampage.
I can't wait to...
whatever. You guys need to check it out.
I can't wait to go watch the Ospreay and Daniel Bryan match. That's going to be a classic.
And I'm not saying watch one over the other. I'm saying more people just watch AEW, because if we have more wrestling on TV, we have more variety. With more variety, we have more options, and with more options, gives the wrestlers that we love more options to go make money, so they're not stuck in that kind of situation.
And it helps everyone, not just some.
So we never have another situation like we did when Vince McMahon was in charge. So is there any matches you really, outside of, we've talked the title matches, so now we got, what else? What do we got?
The only title match we haven't spoke about, obviously, the world titles.
Which I figure we leave those after the was there any other, between before we talk about the tag matches or anything, other matches you had?
I mean, Jimmy and Jay, that to me is going to be interesting.
It's going to be a great one. I see that being, it could possibly be match of the both nights, just because of how good both of them are. I see them pulling out all the stops in that match.
I would like it to be a similar things like a Bloodline rules or Tribal Combat, where there's just no rules and they just let them do whatever they want.
I have a feeling they won't. Not to say that's a bad idea. But generally, they don't try to do matches like that on WrestleManias, only because Mania is supposed to be kind of like a big, prestigious event. And when you have a bloody, gimmick match, it's cool, but gimmick matches, bloody, gimmick matches aren't usually prestigious, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's also going to be interesting to see their dynamic afterwards, because after the two brothers have fought, are they going to sort of
let's make a random
not straight away, but at some point down the line reunite and become the Usos again, maybe, and be away from Roman? Are they gonna stay apart and go for maybe more of a singles run?
I see them both probably be separate on. I see them probably being kept separate on opposite shows, because they probably want to give them each a run.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Just a side note, real quick, for everyone joining us either on the video or the stream, I'm going to make a character using the randomize button, but we're putting a number from 1 to 100 in a number generator, and whatever we land on with, that's how many times I'm going to click it, and then whatever character we get, we have to use it regardless of how silly or dumb the game makes it, so...
Spicy stuff.
And it can get pretty wacky.
Yeah, because we already had 2 that look insane. One debuted on earlier stream, but
one thing I will say about the Usos is, to me, they feel a lot like Matt and Jeff in the fact of no matter what happens in their career, at some point they're always going to reunite and be with each other, no matter how many times they split apart. You know, that's how they feel to me. Like, it doesn't matter if they're apart right now, at some point they're going to reunite, and even if they split off again, it's only inevitable that at some point their careers are going to reunite them. They'll never, like, truly split, I feel like.
yeah, no, I agree with that. The only worry I have with that match, and I don't mean that the match is going to be bad, but I'm like worried that because they've always had such a similar moveset, it's just going to be like
very super
it's going to be like very super kicky and very like just similar offense between the two, and I really hope that's not the case.
Like, yeah, I do kind of hope it's not just a super kick party and that. You know, like just trading super kicks back and forth.
Yeah, I think there should at least be one moment in the match where that happens, and they maybe both go down, but I don't think it should be like just all super kicks and Samoan drops, and like I hope that
It'd be
each
interesting if like they both went for a super kick at some point in the match at the same time and like both connect with each other and take each other out or something. I'm not sure how they'll do that, like, because they need, but like that'd be like a interesting spot that I feel like you probably wouldn't expect to see.
No, yeah. Alright, so the number was 63, so here's 61, 62, let's see what 63 is. Alright, well that's interesting.
Let's see. Ah, that is interesting.
I mean, she doesn't look completely bad, but it's
I'm more wanting to know the name that it gets given.
I'm just gonna randomly scroll through the name list and whatever sounds close, like, you know. But yeah, no, the Jimmy and Jay match should be good. Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be anything bad like in that match. I just hope there's not a lot of like similarities, you know, in the movesets.
Which makes sense.
Match that I
They
care
have always
least
had a very similar
about
moveset. Match we care least about
is probably, just so people
Knight.
notice, is the LA Knight AJ match, because it's just the stupidest build to a match. Like, you came to work when I couldn't. I hate you. What? Victoria.
Like, I've heard people saying how, like, it wasn't just about that, because there was that one moment where, like, Knight barged past AJ or something to go taunt on the top rope or whatever. So, like, it's kind of out of disrespect as well, but the main part, the story is mainly AJ coming back from injury and then sort of just not liking the fact that LA Knight fought Roman.
Like, oh, LA Knight got the matches because I couldn't be there.
If I was
for
AJ,
him.
I'd be more mad at Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Meechin. I mean, they literally went after the Bloodline once, got literally beaten, and then ran scared as if, like, you know. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Like, come on, that's your faction. Then they done nothing.
And I'm going to have to say, I kind of don't care about, even though it'll be a good match, the Rey Mysterio tag match is probably not going to be a big thing.
I just want to know, again, nothing against, you know, like, Dragon Lee and whatnot, but why Dragon Lee? it should have been Carlito. It technically makes more sense for it to be Carlito, because you got Carlito having the beef with Santos because of what he done to Ray. Ray having the beef with Dominic, and you can continue that story of Dominic and Ray from last year's Mania to now. Okay. It just makes more sense than Dragon Lee, because that's just two people in the match that have history with Dominic, not so much with Santos.
No, yeah, it doesn't really.
Now everything links up just Dominic, and Santos is sort of just there outside of the fact that he injured Ray, and Ray's obviously going to want some payback for that. That's like it. At least with Carlito, everything in the match, every like storyline with the LWO and Santos and whatnot would intertwine and link.
It just makes it look like we're going to have an obvious turn from Carlito's end, so it's like, what, is he just going to cost them the match?
Also, if Carlito turns, that means he turns because he wasn't, more than likely because he wasn't picked by Ray for this important match, which is the same reason that Dominic technically turned on Ray, because of choosing Edge over him. And then didn't he also choose someone over Santos Escobar?
So
not
it
like a tag match
Ray's
or
really
something.
just the bad guy here.
So it sounds like these people are just sticking up for the fact that they feel disrespected by Rey Mysterio, not
It's really just Ray's
turning
a
on Rey
jerk.
Mysterio. Yeah. Like when you think about it, Rey Mysterio's a heel in this match.
There's that. I'm gonna plug my controller and you might hear a little noise, guys. Sorry about that.
Another match I'm not looking forward to, because I feel like they'll put on something good anyway, but that I'm not too sure about how the ending's gonna be, is Final Testament versus Lashley and Street Profits, because it's like both teams need a big win, and neither team really wants to take a loss in this match. And I don't see them doing anything like no contest and that at Mania, so I see them having one of the teams lose, and unfortunately I feel like it's going to be Cross taking the pin with the Authors of Pain.
Definitely.
Which I don't need. Realistically, you just don't have these two teams fight at Mania. Okay, unless you're going to put them in like the 6-team ladder match and whatnot, because like neither one of these teams can afford a big loss, because they're too recently created.
No, yeah, it
I
just
mean,
doesn't.
Lashley and Street Profits only just got going, and Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain have been around for like what, the last month?
Yeah, they haven't even been around that long. You're right. It's been a very short amount of time. So, them being the people there, yeah, I don't know. That it's just such a weird, like, it doesn't even, I don't know. I don't even understand the feud. Like, and yeah, why did we bring back Authors of Pain and then not put them in the
Like, you could have easily just had both of these teams in the 6-pack ladder match and not had them face each other on SmackDown in the qualifier, no? You could have had, like, Cross and Authors of Pain be, I don't know, let me look who's in the, like, maybe like Awesome Truth or something, you know? And rather than New Catch Republic, maybe put in, or rather than New Catch Republic, A-Town Down, or New Day, chuck in, you know, Lashley and Street Profits. It depends on which team you'd rather see in what you'd rather have out of the match for the Street Profits and that to come in.
No, exactly.
But yeah, it's just going to be interesting, because it's like, how do they get out of this situation with both teams looking strong? I guess technically if you had to make a right decision on who should take the win, if it's a clean like pinfall, and that is the Final Testament, because from where they've only been around like a month, they kind of technically would need that big win slightly more than Lashley and Street Profits, but at the same time neither team wants a big loss at this early point of their creation.
No, yeah, none of those teams, and then I don't think Cross or Lashley needs a loss. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I'm still surprised we haven't actually had like a proper like. Actually, no. Actually, we have had like a Lashley Roman feud, haven't we? Because that was when Brock
that was,
cost Lashley the belt or something, wasn't it, or whatever.
well, in one of Roman's first feuds when he was like making his way up to the world title before he turned heel, like in his last face run, he faced Lashley because they had like a good match, but then everybody was mad because Roman ended up winning it. Because that was when they were having him go over people like Bryan and all them, trying to get him over by getting him wins over people, but all it was doing was pissing people off because he was beating people that like people didn't want him to beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand that one either because I don't know how you're going to do it because like both everyone in that match needs a win, so like I care about the match even though it's kind of weird, but then it's like all at the same time that's what you guys are doing. It's like you could do something else.
I mean, I kind of feel the same about the Damage Control and then like Naomi Blair and Jade Cargill. It's like, why are we getting this like 6-woman tag? Like
for both of those, you might as well have just had a men's and women's Andre the Giant Battle Royal instead of having it on SmackDown. And then you could have had since those teams are all going at it, you could have had like the two teams kind of be like fighting each other while all the other participants, and then what you do is what do you call it? What you could have done is like had Jade win the women's one, and then the men's you could have given to Lashley or something.
Yeah. You could have given it. It probably would have been like Lashley or Cross that end up picking up the win because they'd be like the last two, I imagine.
Yeah, give it to one of them instead of doing it that way. It just doesn't make sense.
But at the same time, we're never going to understand why WWE try to make certain decisions that they do because they have a weird time when it comes down to the explaining like logic or at least showing the logic on TV about certain matches.
No, yeah.
Sometimes.
This is what people do in small towns.
Let's see what's the next matches to go over. I think that's everything but the main event stuff, right?
That's all the like mainly talked about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that were like, but there's nothing else I can really think about that like really matters.
I mean, unless we want to talk about the rumors of certain people potentially being at Mania,
which we'll cover that. We will just. I think okay. So to touch on the women's 6-man, I do think or 6-person, 6-1, whatever, it doesn't matter. I feel like the team of Jade Cargill and Naomi and them is going to win just because why would you put Jade in her first match? And Jade will probably be the one to get the pin. She'll probably pin Dakota Kai because they like to do that to Dakota Kai. So
I think it's something that I have heard a couple of people say is like, why is Jade Cargill part of this, not doing something a bit more important? And I can understand that because he's like was a big signee and that, but I can also understand why WWE are putting her in this because at the same time they are probably trying not to do what AEW done and put her straight in the deep end whilst training her at the same time.
Exactly.
They're probably planning to have her like train her and have her maybe do something more important going into next year's Mania, which would be Mania 41 or something, and probably maybe have some big plans potentially for SummerSlam. Who knows?
Yeah, or that'll because what I'm thinking is maybe she'll get the win over Dakota, and then you have Io retain, and then it's Io versus Jade going into SummerSlam or something.
That could happen.
And then what you could do is you could always have just to continue on that even you could have Bianca and Naomi grab the women's tag belts, and then I'm not really sure what to do with Bayley. Bayley can get her run down the line or something.
But Nubian's got the women's tag belts right now.
Asuka and Kyrie.
Oh, okay.
So we can move.
They even had them.
We can move on to the like big the big tag match between Cody and
Okay.
Seth versus. For that one, I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna say I have a feeling Cody and Seth are gonna take the win. The Rock will probably take the pinfall, but I feel like whoever pins the Rock probably isn't winning their world title match. So like I could see Cody winning that match, pinning the Rock, but then losing to Roman the next night, or Seth
I can
pins
see
Rock,
that.
and then because of that he gets screwed out of his title.
I can see that. I can also see them trying to do a story of Cody having to go through bloodline rules and, you know, trying to have him overcome it because, you know, they're trying to have him be like this underdog, you know, DB, whatnot, sort of person, and sort of overcome the adversity of having to fight bloodline rules and stuff. But I can also see what you said happening of the Rock and Roman losing by Rock taking a pinfall and whoever pins him more than likely not getting their big win on the next night.
No, exactly, because it just seems more fitting that like something they would do.
I mean, how do you reckon fans' reaction would be if, let's say, Cody got his big win at night 1, pinning the Rock, and then lost to Roman night 2?
I don't know,
I
because
mean, how do you feel like that would go?
I feel like people would maybe not be. They would be mad, but I think you could probably get away with it a little bit more.
Because I think they want to maybe try and do like a Cody Rock feud anyway after Rock gets back from his movie that he's off to do after Mania.
That's what I mean.
Or something. So that could be a great way of setting it up, you know, with that win.
Yeah, because they do want to do Cody and Rock, so it does lead to that if you get that. Because you could have Cody below the belt beating Rock.
He'd do it in the tag match, or do
No,
you
they
reckon
do it
he'll
at
do it when it comes
at
to
night
Universal?
too. They definitely do it at night too.
Which makes sense.
It's because it's summer.
Going on to we're talking about obviously the Seth and the tag match and whatnot, which I think is going to be a great match, and whatnot, to main event night 1. It's going to be interesting with the Seth and Drew match, because not only have you got the fact of you've got Seth and Drew, you've got the fact that Punk's going to be on commentary, I believe, and neither man likes Punk, so that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out for either person. You've also got the fact that I believe you pointed out to me that on Raw, this Raw or something, in the background in one of the segments you could see Heyman talking to Drew, and you know what that could mean. Like, for example, he could be trying to say like, oh, we help you out in your title match, you help us out in ours, and help us beat Cody. There's a few things they can do with this match based on the way they built this. I could possibly see not Punk physically getting involved, but with his commentary, his commentary where he'd probably be trash talking both wrestlers, as he didn't like either person and neither of them like him. It like momentarily distracting one of them whilst they're on the outside of the ring or something, and they try getting in his face and whatnot. Because I feel like I can see that happening in that, but.
Okay, so for the Drew match, I definitely feel like I could see it being maybe that Punk does try to get involved. It causes some kind of chaos, but because of that, that's why the Bloodline's able to interfere. Because I have a feeling the Bloodline, he's gonna inadvertently call Seth, and that'll set up for the Seth Punk thing down the line.
Also, with Punk being on commentary, do you reckon that'll be like a thing throughout, like, night 2 and maybe night 1 of Mania, or only for the world title match with Seth and Drew?
I think might actually be done.
Because if he's going to be like a guest commentator like both nights or whatever, that could be interesting to see. But I can also see them only having him come out to special guest commentate on the Seth match.
I feel like it'll probably just be that match because, like I said, I think they're going to want to mainly set up for the stuff down the line, and you can easily set up for a. You can easily set up for the you can even set up for a triple threat with Punk, Drew, and McIntyre if you do it right, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And then,
which that's probably what they're going to do, is have a triple threat between them and have Drew as champion going into that, because I see Drew winning the belt, because nothing against Seth, but I do think it is time to kind of switch, especially if he is hurt and does need to like get that taken care of. Yeah, recover. Even like if he's not getting surgery, if he needs to rest up, it's probably better he drops the belt.
It's
for a
like
little
what, bad back, bad knees, like just quite completely his body breaking and stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, because the dude probably needs a break. He's been going hard since AEW's inception. He's been trying to carry the brand, so
yeah. And obviously you've got the Roman and Cody match, where, I mean, who do you see being given the win in this match? Like, realistically, like, how do you see this match going?
I don't know. It's a hard call. Because on the one hand, I obviously see them wanting to go with Cody for obvious, to keep that set of fans happy. But then it's like, A, for storyline, and B, just for overall, that I feel like the fans are going to turn on Cody after Mania. I think Roman would still be the smart choice.
I mean, some people on the WWE post are starting to by saying stuff like, "Oh, this is a joke if Roman loses" and stuff like that.
No, yeah, it started already. You can see it. People don't want Cody so much.
And because it's started with like some people, like you got tons of people acting as if they were already on that bandwagon when they weren't, and they were just preaching Cody to beat Roman at Mania like a couple weeks ago. Because that's the wrestling community right there. Well, at least some of it.
That's weird, TNA, man. That might be a bug with the game. He's having an issue with his 2K24 downloads.
Okay. Do we reckon because it's rumored that Cena, Stone Cold, and Hogan, I believe, was the third person, are supposedly meant to make some sort of, like, appearance at Mania? Do we reckon that for whatever reason they'd interfere in that match? Or do we reckon they're gonna have some sort of, like, moment at WrestleMania together?
I think they'll have Hogan maybe come out and do like a little thing. I don't think he's going to be as like prominently featured. Austin, I have a feeling if nothing else, he may show up at some point and confront The Rock.
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't see as a character of Stone Cold and the Rattlesnake and whatnot, I don't see him exactly coming out because he wants to help Cody. I just see him coming out because he doesn't like The Rock, and he's not really going to be on anyone's side, because let's be real, Stone Cold doesn't have a side, doesn't really care who you are. He's a sort of wrestler where usually there is no alliance. He'll sort of Stone Cold stun to someone, act like he's allying with someone else, and then literally Stone Cold stun to them anyway, and just do his little beer can, drink the beer, and whatnot, and then go backstage if he's coming out for like a moment like that. So I feel
No,
like
yeah.
realistically it'd make more sense if he just sort of laid everyone out sort of thing, but people thought he was going to help Cody. But I could understand why they might have him come out and specifically target The Rock, and not go after anyone else, just because I could see maybe Rock coming down the ramp and then getting interrupted by Stone Cold's music.
Well,
or
more what I
something.
was thinking. What I was thinking is I see The Rock getting involved in the match, and then Austin coming out and stopping Rock, and then if he could handle it, possibly Roman taking Austin out, Roman or Solo, but probably Roman, because I could see Austin coming out, stuns like Jimmy, he stuns
Solo.
stuns Solo, and then he takes out Rock. They have like an old school exchange. He takes out Rock, and then he turns around and gets speared, and that'll get Roman like even more heat because he just took out Austin.
Yeah.
You want me to just tell you?
And then
Green Lantern.
with Cena, do you think he would come down, or do you reckon he's going to do something completely different at Mania?
I think with Cena, they're going to kind of do his own thing, or they may set up, like, if he has, like, a match he wants to do, they might...
Honestly, I think Cena needs to have another match, whether it's at a Mania or not, because we can't really have his career end with that bloody Austin Theory WrestleMania match from last year. We just can't.
Well, that won't be the end of his career, but yeah, I agree. It needs to be
Like,
something
that just
else.
can't be the last match he goes out on, let's be real.
$?
And there's a good chance it won't be, but, like, there's always that 1% chance that for whatever reason it somehow is, and it's just like, it should never be.
Just rub it in.
I would like, if we were talking about final matches, if there was to be one like WrestleMania or, you know, whatever show, when it comes to Cena, I think a fitting one for people in WWE right now would be Orton. His greatest rival, and you could also say greatest ally in the company.
I would say, yeah, especially because now that Edge is in another company, I would say I would have went with
Yeah,
Edge.
Edge would be the other shout if he was in WWE still.
Because Edge, I would argue Edge might actually be his biggest rival, because when you think a lot of Cena's early like title runs, like his biggest rival was.
I hate the wall. I really do.
But
That is true.
yeah, I don't know, or they could give it like, you know, it just depends. They could give it to like someone, and he could just go over, do like a Sting situation where it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody.
Skill issue. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I'm looking forward to Mania. There's obviously a few matches like LA Knight and Styles where I'm just not really behind it because of the story in that.
Actually, no, it's raining. And I
And
that you had to get them between.
it is going to be interesting because there's multiple factors that, thanks to the tag match, that could change Night 2 completely, and that if certain people get involved and stuff like that, like for example if Drew McIntyre for whatever reason does decide to take Heyman's offer, if Heyman was offering obviously, and decide to for whatever reason help the bloodline, then you know, like that could completely change whether or not Cody wins or loses as well, depending on how successful McIntyre is at actually trying to cost him. You know, there's a lot of things that could happen. For the tag match does seem like the most likely for the pinfall because he's the only person not having a match on night 2.
No, that is true. You're right about that.
Although if they were trying to go with like a whole like, you know, just trying to build Cody up as if he is like this massive underdog DB new Super Cena sort of type character, like they have kind of thought about, or not thought about, but like wanted to do. I can also see them perhaps having maybe Cody take, not cleanly, but to Cody take a pinfall in the tag match and therefore make it Bloodline rules and have him like fight for the adversity of like anything goes and how the Bloodline can do whatever they want to him in the match and stuff like that. To try and beat Roman. I can see them trying to do that as well. Wouldn't say it's necessarily as likely, as it's more likely you'll have The Rock get pinned, but it's definitely something I see them doing.
No, yeah.
Yeah, time doesn't stop, yeah. So you just have to like roll them.
No, yeah, I agree. Do you have any other like thoughts? Any other matches you got in your mind, or?
I don't even know if there's what other matches could happen at Mania, because I mean you've got some people throwing around the idea of, you know, could whatever reason within these next few weeks they set up a triple threat with Chad, like with Chad being added to the IC title match, which, as much as that would be cool, I don't think it's the right decision. I think it's better to have Gunther be in the one-on-one at this year's Mania.
I agree.
Well, that's my opinion.
I agree. I kind of feel like it's just better.
I think I have one of those. I do have one of those.
Like, I mean, they can probably find something for Chad and like Otis or whatever to do at Mania if they want Chad to have a spot at a moment, but I just feel like for Mania's sake, it's better to have Gunther one-on-one and not add him into that match.
No, exactly. Gunther doesn't really need a
A triple threat into back-to-back Manias, you know, he done it last year's Mania with McIntyre and Sheamus. Like, why do he need to do it now with Sammy and Gunther? Not Sammy and Gunther, Sammy and Chad.
Like, I wouldn't hate it. I'd be okay with it, but you're right. It's like, why do it back to back? Then it just seems like you're running out of ideas for the guy.
Like, I wouldn't say he's gotten to the point where Roman had, was like, you running out of people for him to fight, you know?
No, because there's a huge pool of people he could still go against.
And I mean, I will say, even though it's for the mid-card division, so technically, you know, it doesn't really mean as much if you compare it to the Roman's belt and that. He is, I feel like, the closest person you have to Roman sort of level where they feel unstoppable and unbeatable. Like, he's the closest thing to that sort of thing.
No, he definitely is, yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, if, let's say, Gunther lost his title at Mania, then building up to have him potentially win the Royal Rumble coming up, and then go on to perhaps fight. If I doubt he will still be, but let's say Roman was still champion going into Mania 41, for example, I wouldn't mind seeing that match going on and perhaps Gunther be the one to dethrone Roman, if not Cody. That's something I feel like a lot of people would be interested in. I mean, they could have done that this year's Mania, and I feel like that would have slapped. But obviously, I understand why they didn't, because they don't want to go for another Ultimate Warrior situation, I guess. The IC in the world title.
No, exactly.
So it's just unfortunate timing that, you know, Gunther's a heel, Roman's a heel, so they don't want to do heel versus heel, and then Gunther's also the IC champ right now, so they don't want to do IC
what
champ.
You could actually set up for is, oh, sorry to cut you off, but I was thinking, if you don't have Gunther go against Roman, if you have Punk as champion by next year's Mania, have Gunther versus Punk, because I feel like that's a match people would actually want to see.
That, I would actually, I wouldn't mind watching that match either. That's a great match. There's so many people you can put Gunther against where it's just like, that's a great match. You can put him against like most people, and I mean, because we were talking earlier about how some people were speculating how Gunther's title run could end, and possibly to like Ilya Dragunov being called up at Bash at Berlin and that, right? I feel like when Ilya Dragunov gets called up, and I feel like it won't be long till he does, because he's doing great things, he will probably go after like the IC or the US belt when he's called up at some point. whilst Gunther's chasing like the world title, and you could possibly have them to meet each other down the line with Gunther's world champion or whatever, or maybe Gunther doesn't even have a belt when they meet again at some point down the line and have another match to sort of rekindle the old feud they had in NXT UK,
No, yeah,
which
have
was
that
amazing,
rematch.
by the way.
Yeah, have that rematch. I agree. That was, and those matches were bangers, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
And
Sorry,
I mean, if they went for your idea of, you know, maybe Kevin loses, let's say he took the pinfall, for example, in the match, or something, and then he comes out to celebrate with Sammy winning the IC belt, and attacks him like he did the NXT UK situation, or not NXT UK, but the NXT belt situation. I would really like that, to be fair. I would really like seeing that story and that develop and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd have nothing against that. I
I
think
feel like
if,
it'd be unexpected, because I feel like people wouldn't expect that at a Mania.
and it'd be the first time in a while those two feuding actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of them just being forced to feud because they just have nothing for either one of them to actually be doing. Like,
And with Sammy and Kevin, you know you're always gonna have like a banger of a match put on. It's always gonna be a great match and whatnot. So they know they don't even have to worry of like, oh, would rekindling this even like be a good decision, because they might not have a great match in that, because they know it's just gonna be a great match.
no, yeah, that's what I mean. Is like,
I mean, there's a reason. I mean, Kevin and Sammy aren't the only reason, but a lot of the people that would wrestle on NXT, especially when it was black and gold, there's a reason why it had more 5-star matches than the main roster ever had. You know, because the superstars are incredible, the booking was incredible.
it
I
was
mean,
just,
you could probably give Kevin and Sammy a little bit of creative control in the rivalry and when the matches, and you probably got like a they could probably put on like an instant classic.
oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I think I've covered most what I need to say for the next weekend.
Okay.
I don't know anything else. I think we covered most of the important stuff.
Yeah, I
important
can't really
matches.
think of anything else to say.
So, I mean, I look forward to watching WrestleMania next weekend. If you're catching this before Mania, if you're catching it after, well, hope you enjoyed listening to it, and let us know what you think in the comments down below if you're catching this, you know, on
And
the
if you're
YouTube.
watching on the YouTube channel, make sure to, if you like the stream and whatnot, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on the bell so you know when the next DawnCast is uploaded, or next Temtem, Digimon,
Yeah.
Evil West, whatever it is that gets uploaded next.
And, you know, let us know in the comments if you're watching Mania, definitely, especially, let us know what you think down below, because we'd like to know, you know, obviously what your thoughts or predictions might be. But thank you guys for joining us for this stream and this episode of the DawnCast, episode 31. We're moving along, a little slower pace now, but we're still doing it. Thank Derpel for being our host this time around. He's did a great job.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.